What is going on, guys? And today we are back in Baldy's mix. Baldy's doing another stream, so we're decided to jump in, get another round of 8 game in. Again, great game to play if you're transitioning from wanting to learn some mixed games. The horse games, 8 game is a tournament on its own too, very popular during the World Series. So if you are looking to play these games, great way to learn. Not too big. Plus, you can still play some of your PLO, your no limit too, at the same time. And we can see the mix over here right now. Limit hold'em, stud 8 or better. Deuce 7 triple draw, no limit capped. 7 card stud, limit Omaha 8, Razz PLO capped. But we're going to play another bit with the sir, Mr. Baldy himself, over here. And as always, if you guys like what you see, please like and subscribe. Questions, comments down below. If you're looking for a recording and want some, if you would like a basically a free lesson, you record up to 1 hour on Phenom. Send it to me. We can go over it together, or I can do it on my own. If you guys are looking to open a Phenom account, there's a link below. Please click on it. Or when you register, use code LMG. That's Learn Mixed Games. Helps me, helps the channel out. Stud 8 or better. We're going to go right into it right here with the king up against the 9 bring in with the 3 flush. It's a pretty standard steal, even in stud 8 or better. This one's a little bit tricky here with the split jacks with the ace behind, because the ace is going to open pretty wide in this situation, but we still have players behind us too. So depending on what the board texture is, like these pairs tend to get overrated pretty quick, because if someone else is a strong low draw, they should consider like 3-betting at a decent bit, but I'm just going to let that one go. Could be considered a little bit tight. 3-handed game, I don't think I'm really folding that much with the jack. 2-4-9 here. We're going to let this one go too. Against an overcard behind us, and Baldy's bringing, and Baldy should be just bringing in for the minimum. He should not be bringing it in for the full, which I do not think he is doing. But we did do a Baldy's mix a couple days ago, and he's at it again. So it seems like a good day to jump in and play a little 8 game. Baldy, if you're ever going to watch it, man, I'm telling you, pick up some hands, record them, or record them from Twitch, and then we can discuss them. I'm all for it, my man. We got Moxie Man. We'll go on basebaldy. I actually gonna pull up the lobby here in a second. Queen 10-6 here, even against that open. Then we're gonna fold. They got a lot of stuff going today. They got a 2040 Super Circus. They got multiple Big O games. Dirty Dozen mix at 15-30. We're playing this one now. Split 8s with a 9. We're gonna open. Moxie is getting a little frisky. I'm gonna call 3-6 Big O. Some no limit in there. It's picking up. Call. Catches a jack, we catch a queen. I'm going to start with a check here. Just in general, start with another check here. I think Moxie's going to bet here at a decent bit again. I guess check here. Interesting. Definitely not folding here. Still checking. He does catch a 3rd low card, but he's probably betting any pair in this situation too. So still calling. And we make 10s and 8s. No point really betting this river. Just check calling. And he has aces with a 7 low. We do chop. Most likely his hand is ace 6-7, because if he does have aces there, he probably shouldn't be slow playing. He probably should just be betting for value. 2-5-6 against a cutoff open is close. I don't really do too much cold calling in the situation unless I'm against like an early position raiser, but I think the 2-5-6 with the extra deuce is probably fine enough to go ahead and 3-bet. This isn't one of my stronger draws I want. Like, obviously, I kind of want to, like, would rather have a 7 in my hand and or like a 2-3-4 or like a 2-4-5 or 2-3-5 or something like that. But I think with the extra deuce blocker, it's a little bit stronger. It probably isn't like the best hand in the world, just because like Baldy probably has either a 1-card draw or a deuce in his hand already. But I am going to go ahead and 3-bet it. And we catch an 8. So we improve to a 1-card draw and bet out of position here. And if Baldy improves to 1-card draw, most likely what he should be doing is calling. My phone's ringing. Give me 1 second. All right, we did lose there to Mr. Baldy. Going looks like he left, which is unfortunate. Might have placed something a little bit bigger to keep the game going. Um, 2-7-8 here. I think we're gonna draw 2 at the 2-7-8 with the pair of sevens in a 3-handed spot. It's kind of a 4-handed spot, but I think breaking here and drawing 1 is fine. Or I'm sorry, keeping the 8 here is fine on the button. 1-1. We've seen an extra 7, an extra 3, and jack. And we're drawing again. Even if we think Baldy's pat here, we're still calling. He bet out of position, which is kind of interesting. Usually in that situation, when he doesn't improve, he should probably check. Now, queen on the river here is just a check back. It'd be a little bit closer, I think, if the pot was bigger, but he does pit me, queen versus queen. But even the smooth draw out of position here, I think, is still just a check. And, oh, Baldy opened a 3-5-6 here in the cutoff against us. That's what he had. A little too loose. Against Moxie, he was 3-4-8, extra 4. 2-2, no improvement. And if we think our opponent here is going to be like overbetting too much, we should be going for check raises when we're pat. Stake 1. Kind of the same draw again, 3-4-7-8, but we are not folding here. And it depends. Now we make 8-7-4. We're going to lead into Moxie here with number 10, and he does fold. He should have 9s, 10s, 8s, and like kind of on the 8 distribution, we're right in the middle. But number 10 is usually a pretty good candidate to go ahead and bet. And we can see the other deuce hand that Baldy made against us. He had the 8-6-3-5. Yeah, and then he correctly bets the 9-1 check too. In a 1-1 spot, if you make a 9 and your opponent texts you, you're basically always betting a 9. Even if your opponent can get tricky, I mean, you're still going to get paid off by worse more often, I would say. He says it's the first hand he's won against me in 1-17.
He's just not prepared for the football.
Yeah, I might have to looking around here to see the other games right now just to see if this one breaks, but 30 dozen looks fun and tempting. A3 on the button here is, I believe, a fold 3-handed. A heads-up game, you open 3-8. But in a 3-handed game, it's a little bit too rough, especially with no blockers. If we had like something like 2-pair, I would consider it. So interesting going back to the deuce hand where he bet out of position here in a 1-1 spot. He does make another deuce, but again, at this point, he has like a little bit of added information that he has a deuce in his hand, but still, it's not good enough in my mind to bet out of position. I wonder if he's gonna start doing backflips after he won that one too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, PGT is actually going on right now as we speak. I don't think I'm gonna check my YouTube. I'm gonna check on my phone real quick, see if I don't think it's streaming on YouTube though. I think you gotta go to Poker Go, which in its own right is kind of it's kind of sad. And the reason I would say it's kind of sad is, you know, it would be such a good thing to have on the YouTube stream. So they are streaming it on the YouTube stream. Great. I might even put this in the background here on my phone just to maybe if we can do a commentary or two at the same time. So try to focus on the gameplay and the other gameplay. But we shall see. All right, Jack 7 off. Muck. Probably going to give Baldy a little bit more respect just because he's that much better than me. Oh, should I just raise the 4-2 suited into him? Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I can't do it.
Where you spoons? Oh, is getting to do some.
Kill Queen Deuce offsuit here. What's going on? Why can't I watch it? Just gonna fold the Queen Deuce. Do a lot of calling here, but I think on those raggedy, super raggedy hands.
気分がま、それ、easily succeeded. Maybe I was 6 p.m. Literally, you know, I don't think he's going to be there for me. Exos, be honest.
Let's see, ace-6 suited. Yeah, looks like Jerry Wong had all the chips. Does Jerry Wong still have all the chips? Yeah, Jerry Wong still have all the chips. Oh, wait, we're playing no limit. I thought we were playing limit. Now I'm going to try to do too many things. Still calling here with ace-6 suited, that's for sure, I believe. Actually, I could get really funky here and wonder if I could. I'm gonna call with the ace-6, but I think this could be a. We'll save it for the ace-5 suited.
You don't think of the Lunaki roll it to take you see a play. But, okay, cool.
Interesting. Interesting. We get checked too. Most likely just check this one back here. Makes some sense if he had like, if you think what Baldy's hand kind of looks like in this situation is probably like some sevens. Don't really think he has too many gut shots in this spot. Probably makes decent candidate, I would say. And king on the river. I don't think we really have a ton of showdown value at this point. But trying to block a 6. Jack 10. I think he's just going to have to take this one here. My guy only could just have like ace jack in this situation too. But the king is also like a decent card for me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bet river. I can represent like king jack, king 10. I don't have to necessarily bet those hands. He does fold. So this would be an interesting one to see what he has. But I don't think I have the best hand there. Gonna call here against Moxie with ace 10. Could do some 3-betting against him too. Probably slightly better to do some 3-betting against Moxie actually against a min raise. Obviously, good turn for us. But like 2/3, I think, here on turn. He does fold.
He goes straight out, up air, bar, first pulse. Could be troopers, fighting.
7 stud.
Means it this way. Second plus sharp coming out with boards, and you lighter. I said check backs. That be theirs.
Oh, he 3-bet me with ace-4. I did have the best hand, ironically. Ace-4-7 here. I'm going to fold to Josh. Josh is going to play a lot of hands against us. Kind of interesting. So, yeah. So we min-raise. We min-raise on accident. He does find the, say, the 3-bet with ace-4. And then I definitely did have a hand that I could play back on him, but I just didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, he bigger. If I just check ball down here, you go to 2 big bets. Then you're.
It's really good, obviously, that they're putting the PGT mix games on YouTube too at the same time, because it gives people obviously a good way to learn. I have never seen this one. One guy. We got Phenom Josh here too at the same time. Man, what they should do, I feel like what they should do at these final tables though to make it a little bit quicker is they should have 2 dealers. They should have bigger poker tables and 2 dealers just ready to go.
You can walk, later for me.
Oh, we do get him to fold. Interesting. We do get him to fold the best hand with the 4 on the river. That king was a really good card to turn into a bluff. Oh, sorry, Baldy. All right, 7, 9, 10. I think I'm going to come in for raise with this one, even with the ace and queen behind me. Josh going to play back. It's just a fair clip, and it's like fine.
Yeah, but the double spoken said that they were at the table together. They were all like, you should.
I think Josh too in a lot of ways just feels like he can just push people off their hand on later streets. Obviously, we would love that 8 right there. This is kind of a loose peel, but again, like Josh's range is so wide that I think I'm just going to call one more time. We open pair 5s and catch a club 2. I mean, it's super good for our range, either one. So I'm going to bet. We make 9s and 5s. We make 3 clubs in our hand. Probably should be folding a decent bit. I mean, he does call, and I'm not going to check the river to him. I'd rather bet and then have him call with 2 pair. He does have 8s and 4s, but 9s and 5s are good. And he did bet me with ace king, 3-bet me with ace king something. Like, what did he have? Like, he had like ace king 4? Now they're playing the best game in the world, limit Omaha 8 or better. And if we go to the river, Josh had, sorry, 3, 5, 7. We're going to fold here in stud high. Looks like he 3-bet me either with the ace 8 king or ace 4 king. Can't really tell either one because he caught an 8 on 4th and he caught an 8 on 4th Street and a 4 on 5th Street. So either one he would have played the same way. I would think so. I think peeling with the 8s probably make a little bit more sense, but not in love.
Make low, not it, or get it. Keep it on really whips here. Only going to connect a fair bit to Egyptians. Sure, low. 5 a good break.
They need a mixed game expert in the booth. If anyone's listening, I'll be available next year. . All right, Jack 10-9 here. One guy limps an ace, which is really interesting. I'm gonna call here with the Jack 10-9. I don't know this name. This player here could be just randomly new. If he back raises, I mean, it's somewhat a trap, but we're still gonna call with Jack 10-9. I just don't know what this is, so sometimes when I don't know, I just play a little bit cautiously. And we're just gonna fold against the ace 10, and when Josh connects pretty well with the 7-8. All right, limit 08, best game ever invented, hands down, no questions asked. Cannot convince me otherwise. King 7-8 here in the big blind. Again, we did a video, mixed fix video on a kings in 08, so if you're looking to how we would evaluate some of these kings, go over and find it. Out of position here, just calling pre-flop, check calling on this flop. Flop tends to hit buttons range here pretty strong, I would say. One high, two lows. We're going to go ahead and check call. Ace obviously hits Baldy's pretty hard on the turn here. If Baldy has like a brick hand, he probably should consider giving up, because then if he has like a brick hand, I'm more likely to have it. But this is a hand I think at this point where actually folding is probably best. The reason being is because even if I have the best high hand here, the rivers are kind of hard to play, especially if like Maloga gets counterfeit. So we're gonna let that one go. And then 3-5 small blind here. If folded to, we will play this hand. That's mostly it. This hand's a little bit overrated, I would say, against an open out of position. And of course I say that. And we would have flopped at 9. Josh 3-bet free flop. Oh no, he didn't. I got the pot size wrong. Interesting bet by Baldy there. Board doesn't tend to hit him that much, but if he does have like flush drawn a pair, he does have bets. I would say he doesn't have. I think a lot of people see bet that flop, and in reality, I don't think the button just gets to bet that board too often.
Mm.
10-5-5 deuce here, double. This is fold.
Bene, bene.
Sorry, I'm leaving some dead space in the background. I'm just kind of glancing at the PGT a little bit. They're also playing Omaha high-low right now. Getting raises from the Jack 10-6 on the button, which should not be a thing. But I'm sure there's some players in the field that are not too well versed. Again, like Josh opens Queen 9 Deuce 3 here, it's a little bit too loose. He's checked 6-7 with the suited ace. With the suited ace, this is probably an open. It's probably just close, probably a small winner. Or yeah, a little bit of EV. Actually, we can go back to this hand here in a second, where this is what we had against Mr. Baldy over here. He had jacks up in a 5-4 low, pretty strong hand. On this board texture, it's kind of close. I'm going to go ahead and check to Moxie. I'm not folding right away. Let me check one more time here. And on the 6 river, I think this is close. I think what we do on this river here is probably just go ahead and check call. My hand's just like so mediocre both ways. And I expect him to kind of have a hand something like that, I would say. But I don't think I have a ton of value. And his hand honestly probably should be a fold pre-flop. The ace 8 6-3 rainbow to a raise in earlier position. Like if someone folded to Moxie, then his hand is probably considered a raise on the button. And like if I check to him, I think that he should actually consider just betting his hand with the ace blocker, the nut blocker. But I think we played our hand fine, and Moxie's hand would fold it pre-flop, probably bet on the flop, and then after that, somewhat similar close. Razz, ace to 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the best hand. It is a 7-card stud. The lowest 5-card hand will scoop the pot. He's king 6 here against late position raises. We're going to be defending. Probably against Baldy or one guy. We're probably going to be doing some calling here. And we are going to call here against Baldy. Baldy's range should be a little bit tighter than 100%, so he can still do some betting in the situation. We are still calling in the situation. And he catches a good one, we catch a bad one. I would say there's a fair bit that he fairly often he might pair that 3, but not often enough. We do have good visibility going forward, but if he had caught an 8, I think I would call here, but against a 3, I think a reverse implied is going to be a little bit too bad on a later street. So I'm going to let that one go.
Yeah. NBSL. NBSL.
Moxie 2 bets. Theoretically here, Josh is a favorite. And now Josh should probably see. Now this is another example of like a hand that has good visibility going forward. So I don't think Moxie should just be folding if Josh bets. And now when Josh gets here, it doesn't really make much sense to bet because Moxie probably never has a 9 in his hand. So it's kind of like close equity-wise whether Josh should bet like anything, like unless he has a 7 draw, but he shouldn't have a 7 draw because he checked like all these streets. So I mean, given the fact that Josh didn't even have a pair in his hand, Josh should have just still bet every street, it seems like. So I think there was a little bit of value miss there. Ace 4, 4, 5. Gonna fold this one. Don't love it, but I'm still gonna fold it. All right, Queen Deuce 3 here in Razz. Let's see. Now Baldy's on Razz too. Gonna be a fair bit of stealing going on here, but still not defending the Queen Deuce 3. See, no, not yet.
It's the seas so.
Well, if Baldy's got a 9 draw here, if Baldy's got a 9 here, he should bet. If he's got a 9 draw, he probably should not bet. Because he theoretically can just get to the river. Oh, what? Baldy did this? This was gross. The Jack 5-7 is just way too loose of an open in my mind. I mean, he does have to get through one player, but it seems like it's just way too loose. It might not be. It might be okay. But I do like to be really sticky with my hand. and knowing that he's probably opening something like with the 7 too, against another low card.
That's it. And but and that's it. It is it.
And we are going to let the jack one go here.
Baby. Receive in here. Miss a name see. And the
All right, PLO capped. 40 big blind cap in this game with a 4-8 game. $80 cap. Got a pretty nice hand here with the Jack 9-9. Problem is this hand is rainbow. So we still do a fair bit of calling here, but we are not doing anything super crazy with this combo. If it was double suited, most likely we'd repot, but we're kind of just set mining at this point. We're definitely not folding this combination. Unless one guy here jams. If one guy here jams, we fold, I believe. He does call, and same thing here with the rainbow, we're just calling. Honestly, we kind of have a fun one here to turn into a bluff because we block all the straight cards. But I think 9-9 is probably our best combo to do it with. Oh, Josh only has $34. Does it work here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to bet here and let Josh just go all in. He does not. Definitely if Josh had $70 there, I like the bet a little bit more. But it was just such a good combo to, I think, consider just bluffing with when you block the 2 9s. He had ace 4 7 9 3. Interesting. And then Baldy. So Baldy, that hand did have ace 4 7 9 3. So he had a 9 low. Just had an easy bet. On the river, I think he should check. Ace king 5 deuce here. I think we're gonna call. He does check, and then see if we can get Josh to stack off here. He does not. Check it one more time. Bad card on the turn, obviously. A couple straights get there. 3 on the river. We do block a deuce. Just bet like half on the river and see if we get called by worse. And we do 8s and 3s. Ace queen 8-4 here on the button is most likely an open. Folder realistically in action. Definitely interesting to see. Looks like Baldy has 2 sizes here. I've seen him open, I believe, for 2.5 and not full pot. Definitely, again, there should be a fair. Definitely, there should be a fair bit of limping going on if you're using, I would say, a strategy with a big ante in the middle. But I mean, you don't have to implement it. You can definitely simplify it. And this is a total fine sizing given Josh's stack size. Like obviously, his SPR is like 0.5. Queen 10 Jack 6 here. We're gonna 3x it into Boko. I've seen Boko playing some of the other mixed games. Seems easily tilty. Good combo here. The Queen Jack 10 6 double. Do flop a gutter ball backdoor, some overcards here. And only 1 straight draw, so we're just gonna check this one back. We do have 10-8 here sometimes too if we don't have like a flush draw. But usually, like on these flush draw boards at these stack size, I think we're doing a decent bit of betting. And then against pot size, unfortunately, we're just going to have to fold this one. Unless I randomly have a straight I don't see, but I do not see it. Ten, 10, 4, 3 is a little bit too weak. It is interesting to see the raise sizes, I would say. Like, I mean, my guess is if you give solver an option to say 2.5 it pre-flop, 5 it, 5 exit pre-flop, or limp it pre-flop. Oh wow, aces versus aces. Oh, ace queen holds. But my guess is you're just gonna have hands that it limps, hands that it 2.5 X's, and hands that it full pots it. This is a hand I believe it wants to limp. I think this is a hand it wants to limp call and see a flop with. I don't think this should ever be a thing in my mind. Like, he should just limp behind, because now he's opening the action. Like, if I do, and I do definitely have some traps here where, like, I'm gonna attempt to limp my well, some good hands and put some traps in there. Especially things because my opponents, I think, tend to like view limping as a license to limp, a license to pot it. And when they pot it, a lot of times when I limp, they can make it 6x. So if I repot it over them, I mean, I effectively make it like 20 big blinds, which is like the SBR is like basically 0 now. So ace queen 9 7, like his min raise here is terrible. I mean, like, this hand is like fine to play, but this is like I just, yeah, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I know Moxie is I know Moxie's a limit player by reputation, but yeah, I don't like this min raise with like the queen 8 and 7. I also didn't see that. Again, one guy was kind of short in the big blind. I'm just kind of missing a little bit of the action, so maybe it was better than I thought. But because if he does get him to fold something, it's fine. Jack 2's here in the big blind. I believe it's just a fold. I will check that hand later just to see if I'm just totally off. But I mean, if he's gonna raise, he should also just raise bigger. Like, I don't really know what min raise is doing. All right, Jack 10 suited here. This is gonna be a 3-bet if Baldy raises, and a open if everyone folds. But we don't mind playing this hand multi-way either in position. Kind of an easy hand to play realistically. 7-7-3 board, I think we just do a ton of betting on. We probably bet this board like a very high clip. All right, queen 7 off. All right, 7-6 off. Bye-bye.
Then Sierra de Teleton. Then.
It does get Baldy to fold the ace king jack 4 here, which is interesting for small bet. It's probably still fine, but if he's doing that with yeah, I mean, it's probably fine. That hand just doesn't play very well, and it is a rainbow. So ace 5 suited here in the limit hold'em variety. Probably flip a coin here, considering we can 3-bet or just call. Just gonna call. And again, a board that my opponent's probably going to bet a lot. I don't think Moxie's ever checking this board. So just go ahead and call the ace high. And now we're kind of in call down mode, I would say, with on the ace board. I don't think really anything changes too much. Because I don't expect him to have a 6 unless he has quads. He does have ace high. Probably should actually consider betting the river, to be completely honest, with ace high for Moxie. Haven't shown any sort of aggression, and I would still check raise with the 6 if I thought he was going to overbet or just bet way too much. All right, 6 is here in the small blind. With 1 overcut, I'm pretty sure we're betting here on this board. Again, ace is still favorable, I believe, for me. Doing some protection betting here and like a range bet. I think this is still a bet. It'd be interesting if Josh calls whether we bet river or not, because I feel like he tends to be pretty sticky. So I think we get called by a 4 or 5. And if Josh had an ace or a jack, I feel like at some point he might have raised. So just based on like some combinatorics, it might be a value bet. But again, there's so much good stuff on limit hold'em out there now that me. I mean, you can basically go solve the game on your own if you want to, if you know how to use Pio. Probably the same thing even with Munker. And Munker you can do multiple players too, if you really want to dig into limit hold'em. But I wouldn't say limit hold'em's a dead game, but it's also just not the game that it used to be for sure. But if you're going to be playing in these tournaments during the summer, and again, like I preach them a lot, then it's definitely worth your time to go out and search a little bit of it too. At least get in there so you're not super exploitable. Like, what boards do you want to continue on? When to raise, when not to. Like, at least if you have some sort of good basis in that, then you're probably still going to be ahead a lot of the fields, depending on what events you're playing. Playing the 1500 horse, a lot of people still play limit hold'em and bring that. But if you're playing like a $400 or $600 horse in one of the other casinos side events during the series, you're going to see a lot of bad play. And people always say like they've been, they want to be limit hold'em is like an easy game. But if you're not versed in the basics, then still you're making some pretty big mistakes. I actually think like an example of that is Moxie's check with ace high. That's a spot where usually in a tougher game you see like ace high bets all the way down there, because a queen or 6 would have check raised at some point. The only thing and then he's got to think of, well, maybe he's got a better pair than me. Well, if you think about like what the pairs look like there that I can have, theoretically, like I would be 3-betting, unless I'm exploiting, I'm 3-betting pre-flop aces, kings, queens, jacks, 10s, and then doing some calling with some like 9s and 8s, and then like 7s are probably doing some mixing too, is my guess, if you kind of look at like solver world. But I'm doing a lot of 3-betting with my other pairs pre-flop. So like a lot of times what do I have in that situation? Like I have ace high that he wants to attempt to get me to fold, or like I have king high, or maybe like targeting king high or something like that. So in general, I think like it's one of those spots where I think you still bet the ace high in the river. Again, could do a pile simulation and see what the ace does, but I have some confidence there. I think it still bets with ace high, especially on a 3 river. If it was like a 9 river or something like that, it might not, but doesn't matter now if someone has a 3 in their hand or not. Interesting, he open completes the 9. I am going to fold my hand, but I would have stolen with this hand. And I'm not a huge fan of anyone really just like open completing in set 8. There are some tournament situations, and hopefully we get to some of those in the future here when Phenom has tournaments. There are definitely situations, ICM implications more often than not, that you want to consider open completing for the full amount. But usually in a cash game, this is still not one of them. All right, king, queen, 10 here. Still folding. All right, 924 here. Still fold. Baldy had a nice hand over here. I didn't even see this one. I'm looking to see what he had with when he opened the 9.
Please. Easy. Season. No.
Um, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is a straight with a low. Didn't see what Moxie had. Moxie seemed like he had a excuse me. At least the pair of jacks. I want to say he most likely had 2 pair when he bet on. He had a low. That makes some. Well, he had a flush draw with jacks. Okay. Maybe he had flush draw with jacks. He either had Jack Jack 3 or Jack Jack 5 in the hole because the what's it called? It rearranges your cards when you get to showdown. Open the deuce 3 4 where I do 7. 7 5 4 3 2 is the best hand. It is the worst hand. Nothing here though to defend, so we're gonna let that one go. Oh, so interesting. That's what he had that hand. He opened the ace 10 9 of spades. And again, like I think it's probably just better if he's gonna play it that way, just to bring it in. And if Moxie plays him back, he can just play back at him with a 9. 5 6 7 here on the button against an open. I'm gonna fold this one anyways, but still opening that is probably a little bit too loose. Fold here in the cutoff. Like Mr. Josh is back. All right, no limit hold'em. Come and get it, Baldy. I do have the ace 5 this time. I might have to give him the business. How do I call him against Mr. Baldy here? Do I give him the business? I think we're going to give him a little bit of the business. Might be a little bit much, but one thing I hope they fix on the table refactor is the slide. You can use the slide, but depending on like how deep you are, it's a little bit harder to use. Oh, interesting. He's got the old 8-8-8-7 deuce here. Open it up, Baldy. Do it. So many blockers. Don't be a nit. Come on, Baldy. Don't be a nit. There you go. I'm going to call here with the queen 10 suited. Probably, again, like another situation where this is like close to a flip. Whether we do some raising or calling. Especially at 40 bigs. Worst flop in the world? No. Best flop in the world? No. But middle pair, gut shot, backdoor. Got some stuff going. does check, and we do turn the straight. I can get called by flush draws here, so I believe I'm going to bet half on turn. This also, I think, like, is easy for me to represent, just given the fact that I do flat call with like hands like Queen Jack, Queen 10, King 10, some of these like combinations here in the small blind, so this is totally fine. Jack 9 the next hand, so we're gonna. It looks like you got a 1 with the deuce 6 7. All right, Jack 9 here on the button. Suited. Can I have that same board, please? Actually, I don't think that. Wait, was it Jack on the turn? Never mind. I'm just kidding. Above average flop. Flop. Yeah, let's build us a pot right here, I think. And again, there's not, if we could check raise here, like, not a ton of maneuverability, I would say. 6 is kind of an interesting one. I think we just comfortably check this one back now. I don't think I'm ever getting him to fold a queen. Random chance he has a 6, so just gonna check this one back. Fortunately, that's the run out. But do block clubs. Let's see, we block the 9 stamp. I guess we're just gonna check this one back here. Don't think we're gonna get him to fold. Probably has like something like ace high, but I think I'm gonna check this one back. Does have 9-10. Might be a little bit too tight on the turn check. But I don't nah, it's probably fine. Board that I think is definitely favorable to the buttons range, but I also think too that Josh has a lot of hands here. So it's not like as favorable, I would say. On the turn here, I think I'm gonna bet like 2/3 with the flush draw. And the pair. Does fold again. Oh, interesting. So Baldy had Jack 10 suited here when we had the King 10 suited. Get a lot of suited hands right now. It's fun. Just saying. Kind of interesting. I feel like he folded 2 pair there. It's probably, I mean, he knows this spot better than I do, but for half pot size, his hand only has to be good. It seems like what 25% of the time at that point. I know he's gonna face some river action sometimes, but he would know better than me. An interesting pot here. Baldy got caught against the queen deuce or the 4 deuce. He probably had probably one of the better combinations, I guess, to call with because he does block one of the low straights. Seems like queen 4 would probably be the nuttiest combo to do it with, but so be it. King 10 again is probably like a mixture between 3-betting and calling. But I think it probably is going to lean towards calling, so we'll call. And I think Baldy is probably due for a pot here, is my guess. Obviously, a very good turn card for buttons range, even on check. Probably almost close to pure checking this turn card. On a 266 turn, though, I think we're very clearly calling with king high. So we're going to call with king high here on this turn card. And on the jack river, just check. I think we probably checking our whole. I say probably checking our whole range, honestly, on that turn card. River card. Maybe not. Maybe we do some large betting when we occasionally have a good hand, but I'm not sure. This is the hand that four deuce is going to get him. But how did that hand go down? Is it just a looks like it was maybe a limp pot with that. All right, 7 stud. I think this is might be the last kind of games we play here. I'm gonna call here with the split 3s and a 10. I'm gonna check over to Josh. We have overcards to his 9 here. He does catch a suited 4, but again, Josh's range is pretty wide. Not folding yet. Still calling. Do have a wheel draw now, so we're still not folding. Now, a deuce to the king, queen are probably like good cards for what his opening range could be. But still not folding. Do catch a king. I didn't realize that my board was ace 3 4 5. I could have considered raising there, honestly. And he snap bets again river. So again, just the fact that I have like 3s here, I think this is just a clear fold. I pretty much have like the bottom of my range. But again, against Josh, like I'm not doing too much folding, but I think 3s are totally fine. Could get a little bit sneaky there, but I don't, the problem is the problem there getting sneaky against Josh is a player that's just really showdown bound is, a lot of times they just don't believe you. So they're just going to get to showdown more often than not. Therefore, you probably are just stealing less often. Or doing, I would say, making moves less often. Queen here with the ace in the hole. I'm going to go ahead and go for the steal. This doesn't surprise me. If Moxie 3-bet, I would have folded. And Baldy calls. And I think we are going to peel once. And then Josh catches good, and Baldy, my guess is probably just going to call one more time, so I'm going to throw my hand away here. Yeah. Bye-bye. Open kings versus open 9s. It looks like Baldy's going to get a little bit sticky here. You definitely could have a flush draw. I mean, it makes some sense. I mean, if he's got 2 pair, I mean, once you kind of get here, it's like, I think you just got to throw the money in, but might have just missed. And we got the buried kings here, so this is... I expect Josh to raise a pretty bit high clip again, just because it goes jack, jack, jack. Again, we see it, so... hand that I definitely consider slow playing. Now, if one of these jacks re-raises, then I'm just going to 3-bet with the buried kings. Yeah, we're just going to have to 3-bet here with the buried kings. And then Josh, like, snap bets the 9. And probably don't even need to 5-bet at this point, just probably call, even if Baldy folds. And just probably call at this point. We open pair fours, like nothing really to do here. If we get raised by Josh, I think we're just going to put a lot of bets in. He did have 3-4-5, the stud hand, which was interesting. So he just must have missed in head nines. I mean, I think this is just a clear two bet. I mean, Baldy could theoretically have aces here, which makes a little bit of sense. I guess I mean, Jackson's like, this hand is weird because, like, I feel like Baldy should be giving up like everything. So, I mean, maybe he has sixes. Maybe sixes make some sense here now too. Well, if he's got 8, I guess he doesn't have aces too much here. I expect to get raised by Baldy here now a lot, considering he just called a bunch of bets. Like, I don't think he's got like. I think it was the Jack of Diamonds and the Jack of Spades. Just really interesting. What is going on here? This hand is so weird. I mean, it just could be a fact that maybe both players are just kind of underplaying their hands here at this point. But I mean, Josh is repping 3 9s, which he just shouldn't have here like too much. I'm just going to call. And I catch now a Jack of Hearts. So all the Jacks are dead. He did not have the Jack of Hearts in the hole. 2 aces are dead. I think I'm just going to call against Josh. And I catch a 9? This hand's weird. And I definitely got fucked at one. I'm sorry, definitely got referred at one point. That was all right. Well, we got yeah, we got the 9s to put in all the bets against us. We got the 9s and 5s to put in all the bets against us with the kings up, and we caught a 9, which all right, that was a fun one. Queen Jack spades here in the hole. But I almost raised again on 6th Street, just given the fact of how that hand played out, because again, like any hand that Josh had, he's just way overplaying. Like none of it makes sense. Oh, okay, so this is just so weird. Like this hand just so obviously Baldy here has 3 clubs, but once Baldy catches the 6 of hearts, he should just fold. So it really kind of confused me here, like given this sort of action, like what was going on here. I think we put a bunch of bets in. I think we put 6 bets in, right? I think I re-raised Josh here. Yeah, like, yeah, it's just one of those hands, I guess. And I think once he calls, like, I mean, I get wanting to peel here, with his hand, but I mean, once he's facing this action, a lot of times he's up against 3 4s. Well, that's not true. He shouldn't be up against 3 4s, but he's up against like a bigger pair, and you know, he's usually up against like a buried pair. I mean, theoretically, he could be up against quads there. So, I mean, it's possible. I would definitely 3-bet roll up 4s in that situation if I'm continuing. So I either have like aces full. Yeah, like he peels again in this situation. Am I playing the wrong game? No, it's stud. Uh, yeah, I definitely think Baldy went a little bit too far with his hand, but I'm so confused. Like once he calls here too, he's just like, you know, kind of what can he have? And I don't think like I'm giving anything up here by just calling. So, like a ton of it just didn't make sense. Like it would have made a little more sense here. I think like again, like I caught the Jack of Hearts, which seems like one of his hands to have in this situation that would make the most sense, because if he had the Jack of Hearts and he caught the 6 of Hearts and the Ace of Hearts, then he's got a flush draw down underneath. But it just like did not make any sense to me at all. All right. I'm going to end it up on the best game ever created in the history of poker. Limit Omaha 8 or better. Sorry if this video ran a little bit longer than I anticipated, guys. But I hope you guys get some good content out of it. As always, if you guys like what you see, please like and subscribe. If you guys are looking for a free instruction, record up to an hour on Phenom. And from there, we can review it. You can review it with me, or I can review it by myself. Also, if you're looking to open a Phenom account, then there is a link below. Click on that. Helps me, helps the channel out. What's the next? Another stud game. It's Razz. So yeah, I'm going to sit on next big blind. We'll call it a day. And yeah, if there's any other content or any other games that you would like to see, just let me know. And I would be very happy to start making some stuff. Hopefully in the future here, if there's more of the Baldy's mixes, we can play a few of these. But I am going to have to go soon. And again, if you guys have a Poker Growth subscription, I know that they're running the PGT stuff right now. So you can watch some of the mixed games on there. A couple 5Ks, a couple 10Ks, 15K, 25K. And then friend of the channel, Mr. Chris Vitch, will be doing the commentary for the 100K. Which would be really, really, really cool. 773, 985. Yeah, they're probably hands fine. Nice looking hand here on the last one. Ace, King, Queen, 3. Double. Oh, we do get 3-bet. We are going to 4-bet this combo, though. This is just way so strong. And get a pretty rough flop for it. Now, just because I 4-bet pre-flop doesn't mean Baldy shouldn't lead some of these boards, because, like, obviously if he's got a really strong hand, he blocks me from having, you know, some of the hands I can bet. Like, this one here's a good example of it. So we're going to go ahead and check this one. Now, the only question here is, like, on the turn, if he checks to me, do I consider, like, start turning my hand into a bluff? Meaning, like, I bet here with the nut flush draw and turn my hand into aces. And, like, I think we're just going to go ahead and check this one back. And then on the river, if he checks to me, how nutty is my hand? It's a really good question. I think I'm going to get called by any low, and it's kind of close. I think I'm just going to check this one back. Yeah, okay. Kind of close, I would say. So the turn was close to bet, but well, I mean, range on range, I think checking is totally fine, but that's another hand for another day. So until then, guys, again, yeah, good luck at the tables. Play well. I will talk to all of you guys soon. Bye-bye.